Hi. I have had a wonderful extra week without chemo. I've been feeling pretty good. Um, my blood work that I did today came back, and I am ready to have the chemo pills and the chemo at the hospital tomorrow. One thing I noticed this week was that my hair has been thinning quite a bit. So I lose several hairs every time I touch it. There's a whole handful there. Um, but I don't believe I'm going to lose all of my hair. It's just going to be thinning quite a bit, more than it did with the first chemo, I think. And it didn't thin at all with the second chemo. Anyway, what I want to talk about right now is something I've been thinking about the discomfort that we feel with other people's unfortunate circumstances. So when something bad or sad happens to someone that we know, there's something we tend to do without meaning to. It's just human nature. We try to find a reason why that thing happened to that person so that we can tell ourselves that it won't happen to us. So, for example, we might say that was a nasty car accident, but that guy always drove too aggressively. Or, it's so sad that she had a miscarriage, but she was working really hard and she wasn't taking good enough care of herself with that stress. Or, no wonder he got lung cancer. He smokes like a chimney. We're not blaming the victim on purpose. We're just trying to say that won't happen to me because, or I'm different from this person because. So we are inadvertently othering that person. I think that is part of the reason why there's so much stigma around unfortunate circumstances, because we tend to other people who have them, and that often involves shame. I'm going to get back to that. I heard people talking on the radio about the stigma they felt with having a stillborn baby. They felt like they couldn't talk to anyone about it, even though this was this huge grief that they were having in their lives. And when they finally did start talking about it, they discovered that they knew other people who had gone through the same thing. And so it was comforting to be able to talk about that together. Now, why couldn't they talk about that experience of having a stillborn? They felt like there was shame tied to it. Like either she had done something wrong to lose the baby, or people were at least going to think that she'd done something wrong. And that shame comes from maybe this really old, often inarticulated idea that we have that we deserve what we get. Often, like a lot of us in Canada, middle class and above, we, might feel more comfortable, might be not thinking about it out loud, but having this idea that we deserve to be this fortunate. Then that might mean that the poor person in front of the dollar store over there might deserve their misfortune, their unluck of being poor. Again, I don't think we mean to think that way. When we look at it, we know, well, we're just lucky. Nobody deserves to be sick or to be poor, and therefore we don't deserve to be as well off as we are. But it is still embedded in our culture. It's still something that's kind of lurking in the corners. And I think it's part of, what happens when we tell these stories about why something might have happened to someone. It's almost like we're looking for a reason why they deserved it. Maybe. So, in this way, there is a connection between the shame that a person feels and with unfortunate circumstances and the discomfort that other people feel around them. It's partly because we internalize these narratives. Like, I used to, wonder why I got cancer. And I would think, I didn't smoke or drink, but, maybe I didn't exercise enough. Maybe that's why. Or maybe it's something that I ate. when I discovered that my cancer was inoperable, I wondered, did the cancer grow so much that, because I wasn't positive enough? When I think about it, I realize that, I haven't been toxically positive, but I have been fairly, I've had a lot of optimism and gratitude through this. So maybe that's not valid. If any of you told yourself a story about how I got sick or why I'm not getting better, I understand it's not personal. It's just how you're dealing with that automatic fear of it happening to you. I think even the positive othering that we might do, like, I don't know how you're getting through it, I don't know how you do it, you're an inspiration. That might be a way of separating ourselves from that person in the situation as well. Don't get me wrong, those are nice things to hear. I think we should keep encouraging each other. It's just maybe to have an awareness of what other function they might have. I challenge you to notice what you might be thinking about your friends and family that are going through hard times. It's just human nature to tell yourself to create some kind of narrative, to create distance between yourself and that. But by noticing, you'll hold the story more loosely. When you think about the discomfort that you get around people who are going through something, what is that discomfort? I think part of it is I don't know what to say about this. I'm not used to this kind of situation. There's a lot of feelings associated with it. I don't know what to do with those. And one of those feelings that you're having around it is fear. Fear of pain, fear of your life being upended in that kind of way, fear of death. So, it's good for us to just hold that a little bit, to give that some space, around someone else's circumstances, to hold those feelings that you're having around them. And I think, the more people get comfortable with illness, death, etc., the less shame and stigma there's going to be around unfortunate circumstances. The easier it will be for other people to talk about it and for you to talk about it with them. Anyway, that's just some of the stuff I've been thinking. Throw me a line if you disagree or relate to that. We'll talk again.